Hello, everybody. Welcome to Wade's Movie World. This is Wade. Okay, so this week is August 9th through the 15th, and it is officially Shark Week. So if you're not familiar with what Shark Week is, it's a program that they do on the Discovery Channel. They do special TV shows and I guess you could call them reality-based shows, documentaries, all on sharks, all kinds of sharks, ranging from small sharks to the biggest ones out there. And so I figured, since it is Shark Week, that I would do another movie commentary for you guys. And it's going to be on the best shark film that we have, the definitive one that Steven Spielberg did back in 1975, and that is Jaws. So I'm watching it on DVD. If you would like to get your DVD copy or Blu-ray copy, or if you're going to stream it along with me, I'm going to give you just a few seconds to get your copies synced up with me. I am at the DVD menu, so I'm just waiting for everybody to get synced up with me. Before we get started, I just want to say to all the teachers, the students, the parents, administrators, and everybody associated with school personnel in some way. I know a lot of people are starting back to school. Some here in Texas have already started. Some will start later on this week, and then some will start next week. So as a former teacher, I just want to say good luck to you all. I hope it's a great year. I know this year is going to bring a lot of probably stress and changes due to this stupid COVID-19 that just won't seem to go away. But, just work together and we'll all get through this pandemic together. I'm hoping COVID-19 is on its way out of here because I'm sure you all are sick of it just like I am. I'm fed up with it. I'm fed up with 2020. So anyway, to all the teachers, students, parents, happy back to school. I know some of you guys are doing it online at your homes, and some of you guys are at the school building doing it the regular way. So just good luck to all of you. I wish you all nothing but the best out there. Okay, so I am at the DVD menu, so you should all have your copies ready to go. I'm going to be pressing play in 3, 2, 1, play. So, just a little bit about my history with Jaws. I saw Jaws. I didn't see it all the way through, but I remember every now and then as a young child, I would see it on TV. I'd see bits and pieces of it. My dad and mom would sometimes catch it on TV. Never got to see it in the theater during a special screening or anything, but I never did see the whole thing, the whole film all the way through until I was probably, I want to say seventh or eighth grade. It might have been ninth grade. It might have been ninth grade because right before my ninth grade year in high school, I had reconstructive jaw surgery, and so that summer I had a lot of time to kill because I was healing up, and my doctors didn't want me doing anything, strenuous or running around too much. So I would. Stay inside and do things. I like to do art, and I watched a lot of movies, a lot of TV, and that might have been when I saw the whole thing from beginning to end the of this Jaws film. So yeah, but when I saw it, I instantly fell in love with it, and it's a classic and one that if you're a movie buff, you should have this in your collection. If you don't, I'm just going to say, what's wrong with you? um, okay, so we're at the opening of the film. They're on the beach. And this little group of people, they're just kind of playing music and smoking cigarettes. They might be smoking a little something extra to go along with that because they look like uh, teenagers. Um, we just got through the opening credits with the Jaws theme, which John Williams did, and of course he's famous for that, and all sorts of other brilliant films that have come out after Jaws, like Star Wars, Indiana Jones, Superman, Harry Potter, and things like that. Just to let you guys know, I have the subtitles on as well, so I'm watching it with subtitles. Um, I'm going to try and turn it up just a little bit so you guys can kind of hear it in the background, but I'm not going to turn it up too loud because I do not want to get hit with copyright because YouTube loves to hit people with copyright, unfortunately. So, okay, so the girl is running down the beach, and the guy who I guess likes this girl is chasing her down the beach, and he says, "Hey, where are you going?" And she's like, "I'm going swimming." So she's tossing her clothes, and that guy's drunk off his ass. He can't even stand up, and there she goes in the water. So yeah, this is one of the iconic scenes of Jaws, the opening scene. She swims out to the buoy out there. I never could tell. Each time I watch this, I try to get a more closer look, but you guys tell me if I'm wrong or not. Uh, was she fully undressed? Like, was she all the way nude, or did she have like shorts on or something? I never could tell, or did she have a bra on, or was she just completely, you know, nude? I got to tell you guys this story. A couple of years ago, uh, I was watching this, and it was at this very scene right here, and my mom was watching it with me, and so we were sitting here, we were watching it together. Uh-oh, she just got jerked down, so uh-oh, shark's got her. There she goes. That first jerk down that happened when the shark grabbed her, Steven Spielberg was actually under the water and he did the first jerk down as she's getting attacked. Anyway, continuing on with my story. So me and my mom were watching it. And she says to me as we're watching it, she says, "Well, the stupid girl shouldn't have been out there all by herself in the first place, nude," which maybe mom saw that she was nude or something. And the rest of her comment was, the shark saw something he liked. And I just turned to my mom and I was like, "Mom!" It was one of those just funny, hilarious comments. And my mom, she's full of those. I love my mom to death. Oh, she's so funny. Um, okay, so the girl got attacked and she did not make it through the attack. She is dead. Um, and how they filmed that scene with her going back and forth like that without showing the shark, they had her on cables and they had the cables attached to her midriff, and they had people on the crew just running along the beach, pulling her every which way to make it look like she was going every which way, when the shark had her. And she ended up saying, she's like, if I ever needed to get free, like if something happened to me bad, she's like, there was a little mechanism on the harness that was on her rib cage, and she was able to pull that and get free if she ever needed to. But she said, thank God nothing bad ever happened like that. So she never had to do that. Okay, we just got introduced to Roy Scheider, who plays uh, Chief of Chief of Police Martin Brody, and Ellen Brody, his wife, played by Lorraine Gary, and the oldest son, Michael Brody. I don't know what this child actor's real name is, but the character's name is Michael Brody. So he just got the call about the incident, so he's he's fixing to go check it out. And so yeah, this is Chief Brody's first summer. Apparently they just moved there from New York City, and now I always like that scene where Ellen Brody's on the little playground equipment with her younger son Sean as police chief drives away. This was filmed in Martha's Vineyard. I think that's, oh, it's Massachusetts. I thought it was Connecticut. Okay, so Martha's Vineyard, Massachusetts. One thing that'll always stick out to me about, oh, there's the famous sign, Amity Island welcomes you. One thing that'll always stick out to me about Martha's Vineyard is, I don't know how old I was. I know I was in junior high, and it was summertime, and I was staying with my grandmother, who lived in Junction, Texas, and we had just got done eating lunch or something, and we turned on the TV, and the news was going, and we thought, what's going on? The major news bulletin was dropping, and I believe it was John F. Kennedy Jr. His plane went missing over Martha's Vineyard, and come to find out, I think the plane crashed, and we ended up losing John F. Kennedy Jr. At Martha's Vineyard. I believe that's correct. If not, someone please correct me. But I'm pretty sure it was Martha's Vineyard where his plane went down. So yeah. So this was actually a best-selling book by author Peter Benchley before it became a movie. So they just found the remains of the first victim, the girl that we just saw who got killed by the shark, and the boy who was running after her. He's not taking it too well. The 9-year-olds are karateing the picket fences. Oh, okay, here's the first. He's typing it onto the official record. Cause of death, shark attack. Love those white picket fences. That's a beautiful place they filmed at in Martha's Vineyard. So Chief Brody is taking it on himself to go to the hardware store and get some materials to make some signs for beaches closed, no swimming. And he's correct to do that, but he's soon going to run into some trouble from the elected officials in the town, which, surprise, surprise, politics. Fucking politics. So this movie stars, again, Roy Scheider as Chief Martin Brody and Richard Dreyfuss as marine biologist Matt Hooper. And I forgot who plays Quint. crap. Robert Shaw. Robert Shaw. I don't know why that name just slipped my mind for a second. And Murray Hamilton as the mayor. This film really has a really good cast, and it really, really works. I remember I was listening to a commentary on my favorite film, Armageddon, and it was director Michael Bay, and he said, with a film, a thriller, which this could be classified as a adventure thriller, and someone even classified as a kind of a horror picture. But it's more of an adventure thriller than it is horror. But it's got some horror elements to it. He says, with a movie like this, he's like, with the opening scene, you have to literally grab the audience by the balls, and you don't let go until the final shot. And that's pretty much what this movie does with the first shark attack victim. It grabs you by the balls and it doesn't let go. Oh, and you've got that trouble now, you idiot. No, you're just trying to get some more dollars. Wouldn't you rather save lives, you sons of bitches? Ugh, politicians. Anyway, but yeah, you got to grab the audience by the balls and you don't let go. So when I was watching the making of this, oh, there's the little Kintner boy, Alex Kintner. He's a cute kid. Oh, that poor mom. That's going to be a decision she regrets for the rest of her life. Oh, how do you forgive yourself for something like that? You don't. Um, so when Steven Spielberg was, uh, well, before this movie got started and before he was the director, he walked into the producer's office, and the producers of this film were actually the producers on a previous film he did, which was Sugarland Express. And so he walked into their office one day after that film was complete, and he wanted to see if they had any other projects that he could take on. And he saw a bunch of scripts just lying on the desk, and he just kind of lifted up, some of the scripts, and one said Jaws on it, and he's like, "Well, that's kind of a funny word." And so he was thinking, "Well, Jaws, is this like a dentist?" And so he took the book, Peter Benchley's book, and read the script that they had, and he decided that's what he wanted to do. Of course, he rewrote the script, but he also had some help with rewriting the script and polishing the script though to his specifications and what he wanted to see uh, on screen. One thing he did say about this particular scene right here, the beach scene, or the first beach scene when the Kittner boy gets killed, Steven Spielberg said that this scene was not about the Kittner boy being killed. It's about Chief Brody's paranoia, thinking that, okay, one victim's already been killed, and so he's paranoid that, that the elected officials are wrong and that there is something out there, and it's scaring the hell out of him. I love that line. That's some bad hat, Harry. And funny thing about that line, that's some bad hat, Harry. Director Bryan Singer, who directed X-Men, X2, Superman Returns, and X-Men Days of Future Past, and a few others. Bryan Singer actually named his production company after that line. His production company is called Bad Hat Harry Productions. I just think that's so neat. I was like, oh my gosh, how cool is that? So, but one thing about Chief Brody, he is scared shitless of the water. He does not like the water at all, which is funny that you got a police chief in this oceanside town, and he doesn't like water. Okay, here we go. Oh, I always hated this scene just because I don't like to see kids getting hurt or killed. Get the hell out of the water, guys. And the mom raises up. She's like, what the hell is going on out there? Every parent's worst nightmare. She's calling his name and he's not answering or responding or running up to her. Oh, and there's the flotation device he was on, all flattened out because the shark got it. Oh, man. So now uh, Mrs. Kintner, the mom of the little boy, is advertising for someone to kill the shark. So now the town elected officials and community are all in an uproar.
Any special questions? Is that $3,000 bounty on the shark in cash or check?
Bub, really? A child and a young teenager are dead and you're making jokes about it? You fucking garbage human. People like that need to be strung up by their fucking balls and then have them cut off. That's ridiculous.
We're going to put on the extra summer deputies as soon as possible. And then we're going to try and use shark spotters on the beach. Are you going to close the beaches? Yes, we are.
There you go. Good job. Elected officials. Um, One thing about Steven Spielberg, one of the reasons he took this. Oh, here's Quint. Here's our first introduction of Quint. Scratching his nails on the chalkboard. Oy. I hate nails on a chalkboard sound. I wonder if he actually drew that picture of the shark on that chalkboard, or if somebody else did it. I love this speech he gives here. This is great. Great way to introduce a character like this. And he's eating while he's giving this speech.
You gotta make up your mind. Gonna stay alive and happy up, or play cheap, be on welfare the whole winter.
They're all great characters in this film, but I he was Quint was not my favorite character. I disliked him the most. I think just because he was such a freaking jackass. Oh man, it's great. So now they're putting up the beach is closed signs, plural, more than one. Sorry if you guys are hearing this fan on my computer. My computer's been running a lot lately, so it's trying to cool itself down. So I apologize if you hear that on the commentary. There's not much I can do about that. So anyway, I was interrupted by the introduction of Quint. One of the reasons why Steven Spielberg took this film is because he saw a lot of comparisons between uh, things about this film that he did about another film about these leviathans that go after people and won't stop. And he was talking about his film Duel, and he's like, well, it's kind of the same concept. And he's like, Jaws has 4 letters, and Duel has 4 letters, and it's about these things that are, going after these innocent people for no particular reason. Uh, there was actually uh, when I was watching the making of the first Halloween, John Carpenter's Halloween, which I've watched uh, multiple times in my life. um, they were saying, Michael Myers is this, the shape, this unstoppable killer. Now, he's like, well, where did that come from? And anyway, they were saying that, another character that could compare to Michael Myers as this unstoppable killing machine was the shark in Jaws. So there was a comparison made between the shape, Michael Myers, and the shark in Jaws. These two fishermen are, I don't know if this is early in the morning or at night. They're taking a holiday roast and throwing it out there trying to catch the shark. There have been other movies that have uh, actually kind of ripped this scene off. One that comes to mind is in 1998, the Roland Emmerich directed Godzilla movie. As Godzilla comes towards the mainland in New York City, this uh, fisherman goes out onto this dock and tries to catch a fish. And about the time this guy throws his line out there, uh, Godzilla gets closer and closer, and basically he's coming towards this fisherman, and this fisherman's like, "Oh crap, what did I catch?" So this scene always kind of reminded me of that scene from Godzilla. Now they're just waiting to see if the shark will take the bait. And there it goes. Yeah, why don't you get off the damn dock, you idiot? And that's why that happened, because you're an idiot. Yeah, you better start swimming back towards shore before he turns around. And he's turning around, of course. I love all the different kind of ways they uh, used to show that the shark is coming or near. Because half the time on the film production, the mechanical sharks didn't work, so they had to figure out ways to make you think the shark is near, and they used these yellow barrels later on in the film, and then they used different devices like this, uh, like the broken part of the dock here to represent the shark, which was effective. I apologize, guys. My allergies are starting to kick in. I may have to go take something. I hope not. But now all these fishermen have showed up to Amity Island because they want the bounty money that Mama Kintner has put on the shark. Okay, now we're just getting our first look at Dr. Matt Hooper, played by Richard Dreyfuss. And he's just arrived at the island, and he works for the Oceanographic Institute on the mainland, and he's here to help Brody with the shark issue that they're facing. I think out of all the characters in this film, uh, Hooper, Richard Dreyfuss, is my favorite. If they ever do another Jaws film, I mean, Robert Shaw, Quint, the guy who played Quint, he's unfortunately passed away, and so is Roy Scheider. Richard Dreyfuss is the only one who's still alive. I would love to see him, if they ever did another Jaws sequel that would do this film justice and stick to the original material, uh, I would love to see him make a return and be the main character in a Jaws sequel. I think that would be awesome. There have actually been some fan-made trailers for Jaws featuring Richard Dreyfuss's character, and they're fan-made, but they're very well done. They're just using clips of Richard Dreyfuss from other films he's been in, but for what they have to work with, they made a very convincing trailer or trailers. Okay, so Brody and Hooper are meeting for the first time. And all these fishermen are headed out trying to find the shark. Look at that. It's like they don't know how to drive a boat. They're all bunched up together. That's what I call dangerous. And then they're throwing chum over the side of their boat, and then this guy's throwing dynamite into the water. Yeah, that's a good way to get somebody killed, you dumb shits. So they just brought, excuse me, sorry about that, guys. They just brought Hooper to the morgue, and he is examining the remains of the first victim. Now, it doesn't show the remains of the first victim, but Richard Dreyfuss, he acts this scene so well, and there's probably really nothing in front of him. I mean, I don't know if there's anything in front of him or not, but he acts this scene so well. Wow.
Indicates the non-frenzy feeding of a large squamous, possibly Longimanus or Surus loris. The enormous amount of tissue loss prevents any detailed analysis. However, the attacking squamous must be considerably larger than any normal squamous found in these waters. Didn't you get all those these waters? Well, this is not a boat accident. There wasn't any propeller.
Yeah, that medical examiner knew that. He's just trying to keep summer dollars in the town. He didn't give a shit about the well-being of people's lives. All right, now some fishermen have returned and they've caught and killed a shark, and everybody thinks it's the shark that killed the first girl and the little boy. But they'll soon find out that not so much. That is not the shark. It's a big son of a bitch, but it ain't the shark that killed those two people. And Quint drives by and just smiles and laughs. He's like, almost like he knows. He's like, nope, nope, that ain't the shark. That smirk and that laugh he does. Oh, oh my gosh, how funny. Oh, this is funny. Tiger shark. A what? Hey, he's the expert. He's just trying to tell you that it's probably not the shark.
I'm not saying that this is not the shark. It probably is, Martin. It probably is. It's a man-eater. It's extremely rare for these waters. But the fact is that the bite radius on this animal is different than the wounds on the victim. I want to be sure. You want to be sure. We all want to be sure, okay?
Mm-hmm.
I want to use very simple. The digestive system of this animal is very, very slow. Let's cut it open. Whatever it's eaten in the last 24 hours is bound to still be in there, and then we'll be sure.
If I was him, I'd listen to the expert. If he says the bite radius doesn't match the wounds on the first victim, then I would say, okay, then this is not the shark. We still have a job to do to protect our citizens. Well, maybe you'd change your tune, wouldn't it, asshole? Uh-oh. Here comes Mrs. Kintner. I remember watching an interview with Roy Scheider, and it was about this particular scene where Mrs. Kintner finds out that a girl had gotten killed before her boy did, and that he let people go swimming, and so she comes to find him, and she slaps him or kind of hits him across the face. And Roy Scheider said, I don't remember how many takes they did, if they just did one or if they did several. But he said, whenever she hit me, he's like, she gave it to me. It hurt. She is right. That's something he's going to have to live with. Shut up, asshole. No, she's not. Murray Hamilton, he's a good actor, but he always seems to play the asshole in films, or at least the films I've seen him in. Lorraine Gary, who plays Ellen Brody, uh, Chief Brody's husband, and the father to the father, shit, the mother to their two little boys. This dinner scene right here, where the child is the young son, or the youngest son, Sean, is copying what his dad is doing. She said as they were filming that scene, that she said it was very sweet to watch them just do that together, and how neat it was just to see Roy Scheider just work with the child, and those two just have this sweet scene together. And it really is a good scene, a great scene, in fact, a sweet scene. Uh, a father who you can tell really deeply loves his kids. So Matt Hooper got all dressed up and came to Chief Brody's house that night and brought him some wine, white and red wine. Nice guy. Got all dressed up and cleaned up, and I always like it after the little scene with Roy Scheider and the child, how it transitions from the child and the father to the adults. And I like this scene right here. It's a really good scene or sequence.
shark, not the shark. Not the shark to pussy weapons. And probably not the shark to the boy. Which I want to prove today by cutting the shark open. You really won't let that breathe for
He's like, I've had a rough day. Like, it's not a wine glass he has, it's a regular size glass, and he almost spills it all the way to the top.
you know, you're going to be the only rational man left on the side after I leave tomorrow. I'm going on the road. It's a floating asylum. For sharks. Here we said 18 months in safety.
Why is it so and this is
Is it true that most people get
Oh, what? Now, see, I didn't remember that. I guess he had a drowning experience as a young child or something. I never knew that until now. Huh. So that's why he's afraid of water. I always wondered during this scene right here. So we're now back at where they've put this shark that they caught, and now Dr. Matt Hooper is opening up the digestive tract of the shark. I always wondered if this was a real shark carcass that they opened up, or if it's just something they made for the film. Louisiana license plate. He didn't need a car, did he? So they've opened up the digestive tract and no human remains. So they know now that that's not the right shark, that the real shark is out there somewhere. Now his mouth is bigger than that. Okay, so now Chief Brody and Dr. Matt Hooper are out on Hooper's boat, and they're looking to see if they can find the shark out there. Wow. No kidding. You want a pretzel? You rich? Yep. Sorry, guys, I had to get up and turn my ceiling fan on. It's getting a little warm in here. So now his radar on his boat is starting to pick something up. This was always kind of an eerie, frightening scene. This is kind of what I was talking about. This is one of those scenes that it kind of makes it feel like a horror movie. There's just like a few scenes in this film that, you know, are kind of horror based, and I always thought to myself anyway that this was always one of them where they're out on the water at night, see anything, find a shark, and they come up on this boat that's just all torn up. And this fisherman's boat, Ben Gardner, you know, his boat's there, but no Ben Gardner. So they know that something happened. So Hooper's gonna put on a wetsuit and just get in the water and check things out underneath and do some investigating. I'd be like Chief Brody, let's just tow the damn thing in. Now, this scene, once Hooper's in the water, underneath the water, they tested the film in, I believe it was a Dallas theater before, you know, it actually came out to the public. But they had a testing audience, and they tested the film, and it did really, really well. But Spielberg was like, there's one more scare I can get out of the audience. And so once Hooper in this scene enters the water and he's underwater, he finds that tooth, and then he sees the remains of Ben Gardner. This was actually filmed after principal photography was already done, and most of the production had already wrapped. It was done in the film editor's swimming pool in her backyard. So I thought that was pretty cool to learn. Too bad he dropped that tooth. That could have been his evidence to show the mayor. It's like, look, asshole, this is the size of a tooth, and multiple teeth like that can do major damage and kill people. I hate the look he's got on his face, like he's just looking at these two guys who are trying to tell him, you know, that, hey, you know, we got to close the beaches, and he's not listening, and he's just looking at these two guys like, just, oh, shut the hell up. You don't even know what you're talking about. And I always wanted to, during this scene, I always wanted to reach through the screen and just punch this guy in the face and just say, listen to these two guys, you son of a bitch. Carcharodon carcharias is the official name of a great white shark. I love that line. You're going to ignore this particular problem until it swims up and bites you in the ass. I've actually used that line on a couple of dumb fucks that I've had the unfortunate pleasure of talking to or dealing with in my life, and I've used that line on them. And most of them have been people that I work with. One or two were supervisors who didn't know fucking shit. You swim and eat and make little sharks, and that's all. He's like, you idiot, I've already had my name and picture in National Geographic. And you're a dumb idiot. And here come all the tourists. For the 4th of July weekend. Only it's going to be maybe a good weekend for a little while, celebrating the birth of our country, the United States of America, and then it's going to turn into something very terrifying. So, a small town with all these people in it, and they only have like just a handful of police officers. Wow. Now people are gathering on the beach. They must be in a bay area on Martha's Vineyard because there's not very many waves. I mean, there's like small waves, but not like what you'd see like if you went to down South Texas, like South Padre Island, or over to Florida or somewhere like that. That oh God, I thought that guy didn't have any clothes on. I was like, whoa, but he had shorts on. They just were almost the color of his skin. I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't remember that in all these times I've watched this film. The news reporter that they just showed, that is actually the author, Peter Benchley, who wrote the book Jaws, that this movie is based on, sort of based on. That mayor's such an asshole. He makes these guys be the guinea pigs. I would have said to him, if you want people to get in the water, how about you get in the water? You be the first guinea pig, you asshole. That woman's looking around like, I don't know about this. And now people are starting to go in. So apparently, the water of the North Atlantic like that is pretty cold, even during the summer months. And they had some trouble getting people in the water when they were filming these water scenes. Back in, I don't know if it was like 2000, no, it had to be 2003 or 2004. My dad and I, we went to Los Angeles, California, and we went to Venice Beach, and we got in the water, but we didn't stay there too long because that water was cold, and then we were wet, and then that wind coming off the Pacific, oh my God. I mean, it was a nice breeze, but since we were wet, oh my God, we were just shivering. It was so cold. So now people are kind of starting to relax and loosen up and enjoy the water. One thing I learned as I was watching the making of this, and I didn't know this, that after this film came out, that uh, people were actually frightened, like to go to the beach or any body of water and get in the water because they were afraid. There was a giant shark in there, waiting to attack them or you know kill them, and yeah, it struck fear into people. So people are starting to react because they just saw a shark fin. Now they're telling people to get out of the water. Now people are starting to panic everywhere. Gee. Someone grab those children and get them out of the freaking water. Jeez. Oh my God. I didn't remember that part. We're just trampling that old man. Yeah, how do you feel now, you stupid mayor? Of course, there is a shark out there, but yeah, this is not the shark. These two asshole kids with a shark fin. He made me do it. Oh my goodness gracious. Those kids are like, oops. Now this girl who's on the other side of the beach. Uh-oh. So now it's going into the part of the water where his oldest son is, and now it's becomes scary. Like, oh my God, my son's in danger. Here he comes. And really, that scene right there where it just shows the fin, that's just a fin they're just dragging along the surface of the water. Now here's our first kind of good look at the shark, but it's still underwater, so you kind of barely see it. But still, there it is. Wow. What a reveal. This scene was actually supposed to be more violent than what it shows right now, that involved Brody's oldest son, but they decided to edit it down and reshoot it and cut the violent part out and go with this edit of the scene. So Michael's not dead, he's just in shock. Cover him up, cover him up. Now Brody realized, okay, time to take matters out to sea. So they took Michael to the hospital and he's doing all right. He has to stay overnight, then they're going to release him tomorrow. All right, Mr. Mayor, we're going to have us a little talk. If you would have listened to him the first time, none of that shit would have happened, bastard. I love that. You're the mayor of Shark City. So sign the damn document. So now Brody and Hooper are with Quint. They're at his place on the water. Pretty interesting place, if I do say so myself. His decorations are interesting. wonder if there's a backstory to Quint, if he all those uh, skeletal uh, shark jaws he's got hanging on his wall, if he killed those. What's interesting is that uh, I heard during the production that Richard Dreyfuss and Robert Shaw did not get along too well, and that probably adds to their tension on screen, which is really, really good, and it really helps with the characters and the story. Uh, but what's funny is I believe after the shoot was over and the production wrapped, is they kept in contact, and I think they became really good friends afterwards. That may be incorrect. Someone correct me if uh, that's not true, but I think that's what I've heard. But I know for a fact that they had some issues during the uh, principal photography. So now they've all decided that they're going to hire Quint to kill the shark, and Matt Hooper's going to go along as well as Chief Brody. Something I never understood about this film and about the character. If they're going to go after such a big, I was going to say fish, but a big shark, like Brody says later on, I mean, they're going to need a bigger boat. But for one thing, a wooden boat? I mean, I know they had wooden boats back in times that I wasn't alive and way before this, but I mean, now or when this film was shot, they should have had a boat built out of, metal. I mean, that's why the boat ends up sinking at the end of the film. It's freaking built of wood. There's actually more than one uh, orca. I think there was two. There might have been three. I'm not sure. But they had one that was just for sinking, I believe. So the parts of this film that were shot out on the water were actually shot out in the open ocean. There were two mechanical sharks, and they had a lot of trouble with the mechanical sharks. They hardly ever worked, but when they did work, oh my gosh, it worked so well and it's so believable. It looks like an actual shark. So she just left her husband getting ready to go out on the boat, and she's not taking it too well. Ellen Brody's not. She's upset that they may not see him again. Gosh, John Williams did such a brilliant job, as he does with all his films. But he did such a great job with this film. I'm not sure when they made this part of the film, because they are actually out on the open ocean, but I don't know how far out as far as mileage that they went. Let's see if I can find it real quick in these notes here. Oh, but those compressed air tanks, those will become important later on in the film. Yeah, I should have written that down. I don't know how many miles out to sea they went to shoot this part of the film. This movie was actually so big and got such great reception and did well with audiences that it beat out films like The Exorcist, The Godfather. Um, there's some other films I saw that it beat out. What are the other ones? I think Gone with the Wind was another one it beat. And this was actually the start of what we know today as the summer blockbuster. So this was the first official summer blockbuster movie. Oh yeah, that's a real smart idea. Why don't you hook yourself to that thing so the shark can just pull you overboard when it decides to run? Idiot. They had so much trouble with all sorts of things on the shoot on principal photography that this movie went way over schedule, and they didn't know if they were ever going to finish, but it it paid off in the long run. But I know there were a lot of people who worked on the production that got frustrated and were wondering if this film was ever going to get done, or if they were just at some point going to shut the picture down, and or if they were going to. Spielberg wondered every day if he was going to get fired or not. But thank goodness he didn't, and was able to finish this film, because I mean, wow, what a film it turned out to be. You know, one thing, I'd be like um, Brody's character. I mean, I enjoy being out on the water and I enjoy boats and stuff like that. But I mean, if I was on a boat that was rocking like that, I would probably be sick to my stomach and throwing up over the side. Ugh. Here's some of their quarreling and bickering back and forth. That's a little childish. Hooper making faces at Eddie. Hooper's still mouthing off at him. Oh my gosh. Aye, aye, sir. Arr, arr. One thing about this part of the film is uh, Steven Spielberg wanted them to feel very isolated, away from people and land and society. He's like, whenever they were on the boat, you know, whichever way the camera was pointed and whatever shots I was getting, I wanted them to feel very isolated. He's like, I didn't want to see land anywhere because it would, you know, during the real intense moments, it would make the audience think, okay, well, you know, this isn't working. Let's go back into land and let's, uh, you know, regroup and rethink this and get some more supplies and, you know, go back out later. And he didn't want it to be that easy. He wanted them to feel very cut off. And it works. It really does. It gives you more of a sense of feeling alone that it's just these three guys and this damn shark. And there's the first good look of the shark that we get. And there's the famous line, you're going to need a bigger boat. Now, that line was not in the script. That was actually ad-libbed by uh, Roy Scheider. It's always the things that are not in the script that when actors go off script, it makes the film or films more magical. Okay, here's their first big encounter with the shark. Out at sea, anyway. There he is. Steven Spielberg only had John Williams do the Jaws theme, the dun 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 dun, only when the shark is there or when you see the shark. He wanted other music during the film, but only use the dun 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 when the shark's around or threatening. Okay, what if you fall off? And then the shark eats you and you're dead. Now, this is when you see what kind of a dick Quint really is, especially towards women. He's a real asshole. He treats Mrs. Brody on who's calling on the radio out to them. I mean, he's just an asshole towards her. Whoa. So they're getting the barrels ready to shoot the shark. Got him. There goes the first barrel. And he's a big shark. It's going to take multiple barrels. They're going to find out later. One will not do the trick. See, listen to that. Uh, isn't that music just good? Just gives you a sense of thrilling adventure. Great music by John Williams. Pretty sunset. This is one of my favorite scenes inside the cabin scene where they're telling stories and comparing scars and stuff like that.
got that beat. Got that beat. It's more ideal. Feel like you know what's I've done that. Like, maybe unless you're in contact with people out of San Francisco, see us. Okay, extend. You know what? I'd be 75 now, celebrating my third wife's birthday. Chinese fries.
Jeez. Now they're comparing scars on their legs. I love it. Okay, so we drink to our legs, comparing scars and tattoos and having a drink to their legs. Sounds good to me. Here's where things change from fun and laughing to real life story. The USS Indianapolis. He's fixing to tell the story of that ship and that crew. This is a pretty powerful scene. This line of dialogue was written 3 times.
By the end of that first run, lost 100 men. I don't know how many shots, maybe 1,000. I don't know how many men, the average 6 dollars. Everything.
Yeah. So Quint just got finished telling the story of the USS Indianapolis, which his character was on, which is a real warship, and it was the ship that delivered the Hiroshima bomb before it got dropped on Japan. And so, according to my notes here, Peter Benchley had written Jaws after reading about sport fisherman Frank, I don't know what this guy's like, Mundu's capture of an enormous shark in 1964. And according to another writer and actor on the film, Quint was loosely based on Mundu's character, whose book, Sport Fishing for Sharks, he had read for research, and Sackler came up with the backstory of Quint as a survivor of the World War II USS Indianapolis disaster. The question who deserves the most credit for writing Quint's monologue about the Indianapolis had caused some controversy, but that controversy was ultimately put to rest, and Spielberg described it as a collaboration between Howard Sackler, another guy, and then Robert Shaw, who was also a playwright, which I didn't know. And according to the other guy, Millis turned to Sackler three quarters of a page speech into a monologue, and then that was rewritten by Robert Shaw, who plays Quint and was ultimately given in the film. So, yeah, quite a story. And if you don't know the story of the USS Indianapolis, well, you ought to Google it and read about it. And there's actually a movie that stars Nicolas Cage that came out a few years back called the USS Indianapolis Men of Courage. It's a really good film. I've seen it. So if you don't read about it or check it out on the internet, you ought to stream that film or go buy it on Blu-ray or DVD and watch it, or go rent it. Good film. So now they've realized they're having engine trouble and they're trying to repair the engine, which is pretty much shot to hell. And then Quint's going to pretty much blow the damn engine here in a little bit. Guys, I'll be right back. I'm going to take a restroom break, but the film's going to keep going. Yeah, so I'll be back in just a second. Okay, everybody, I'm back. As choppy as the ocean is, that where they're at right now, that was part of the problem as to why the shark never worked, because they're out there in the real open ocean, and the ocean just pretty much beat the hell out of the two sharks that they had. And for those of you who don't know, the shark's name, they gave the shark a name, and the name they gave it was Bruce. And if you've seen the film, the animated Pixar film Finding Nemo, the shark in that film's name is Bruce, and that's how that shark got its name, because the name of the shark in Jaws was Bruce. So a little cool info for you there. Shooting another barrel towards him. Oh, that was a good shot of the shark. I don't think that little pistol's going to do much, buddy. What's interesting about how Roy Scheider's character, or how Roy Scheider was cast in the film, and how Richard Dreyfuss was cast in the film is pretty interesting. Roy Scheider was actually at a event or a dinner thing with some others, and Steven Spielberg was there, and Spielberg was talking to somebody about this film. You know, it hadn't been made yet, but they were talking about how they were going to pull certain things off. And so someone brings Roy Scheider up to meet Steven Spielberg, and so he walks up to Steven Spielberg, and one of the things he hears before he introduces himself is he hears Spielberg say, "We have to get this giant shark to come up crashing on the stern of a boat." And he said he remembers hearing that and thinking, "My gosh, how in the hell are they going to do that? That's crazy. I mean, how do they expect to pull that off?" And so they met and they talked a little bit, and then Roy Scheider, went on about his way at the party or dinner thing or whatever it was. And then later on, he went back to Steven Spielberg, and they got to talking about the film again, and talking about how he needed to cast several of the characters, and Roy Scheider said, "Well, why not me?" And so Steven Spielberg just kind of thought for a minute. He's like, "Yeah, you make a good Chief Brody." And then Steven Spielberg, as far as Richard Dreyfuss is concerned, he was talking to his friend George Lucas about the film, and he said, "Well, I loved your film, George, American Graffiti, and I really liked all the characters in it and the actors." And George Lucas said to him, "Well, who might do good in this film is Richard Dreyfuss." And so he called Richard Dreyfuss, and Dreyfuss at the time said he wasn't interested. And then he went to see one of the first films he was in, and Richard Dreyfuss just thought, he watched the film, and he's like, "I was just sick." He's like, "I didn't think I was good at all." And he thought, "I thought my acting was just terrible in that film." And so he's like, I better get another job quickly. So he called Steven Spielberg back and he said, hey, if you're still casting for the part of Matt Hooper, I'd like to uh, come on board and play that character. And he hadn't talked to anybody else about playing Matt Hooper, so that's how um, Richard Dreyfuss was cast in the film. And I think as far as Quint goes, Lauren Gary, who plays the Chief Brody's wife, Ellen, she was one of the first ones cast in the film and was wife of the then president of Universal, Sid Sheinberg. So that's how she got cast in the film. Here's something interesting. The role of Chief Brody was um, offered to Robert Duvall at first, but Duvall was only interested in portraying the character Quint. And Charlton Heston expressed desire for the role, but Spielberg felt that Charlton Heston would bring a screen persona too grand for the part of the police chief. Yeah, I don't see Robert Duvall or Charlton Heston being a good Chief Brody. As far as the role of Quint, um, the role was originally offered to actors Lee Marvin and Sterling Hayden, who both turned down the project, and producers Zanuck Brown, or Richard Zanuck, and sorry, I'm twisting my words up here. Producers Zanuck and Brown had just finished working on a picture with Robert Shaw and suggested him to Spielberg, and he didn't agree initially at first, but then after some, I guess they talked to him about it, and he decided to accept the role. And here's where Quint's an idiot and revs the boat's engine up too high, puts too much pressure on the engine, and ends up blowing the engine and blowing a hole in the damn boat, and that's how it starts sinking. And for someone who thinks he's so smart, he's really pretty damn dumb. That guy's lost it. So now they're heading back into shore. They realize they can't kill him out. They can't kill the shark out there. So they're going to try and draw him into the shallows and drown him. Ooh. There goes the engine. Blows the engine and blows a hole in the boat. Nice. Yeah, you screwed up, didn't you, stupid idiot? The boat's slowly starting to sink.
And I think on 2016 that should be next. This little needle for his skip.
The tempers are high and starting to flare. They realize they've only got a few options left before the damn boat sinks. So Hooper's going to use his knowledge and get into the shark cage and try to kill the shark from the shark cage. That's a line that's been repeated in a few things. Uh, if you guys ever watch on the CW, The Flash, uh, Cisco Ramon, as they were headed on their journey to Earth 2 to try and stop Zoom, uh, as they were getting ready to travel through the breach, Cisco said that. He's like, I ain't got no spit. And of course, that's one of the lines from this film that Dreyfuss's character just said. Most of the shark cage sequence was filmed at Universal in a big swimming pool, and then another part of it was filmed using a miniature cage by shark experts from Australia. And this is actually a part of the film where real shark footage was used. And it was shot by Australian shark experts Ron and Valerie Taylor. Excuse me. Uh-oh. We dropped the staff thing that had the poison in it. So now it's on the bottom of the ocean floor and he's stuck in the cage. Hooper is. And now here comes the shark. Pretty much just tearing the cage to bits. Man, that shark is big. Mm. There's some of the actual shark footage after Hooper escapes from the shark cage. That's when some more of the uh, real live shark footage was used. And the boat's starting to flood even more now because of Quint's stupidity. And here comes the scene I was talking about where the shark comes up out of the water and pretty much just lands on the stern of this boat, which is now sinking it even faster. And Quint pretty much just slides right into the shark's mouth. Oof! Ouch. Oof. Ugh. This film was rated PG, and I must say that is a rating that I don't agree with. Uh, there's a lot of blood in this film, and it's kind of violent. I probably would have given it maybe PG-13, but I don't know. I might have given it an R. I mean, that's just me. I think the rating should have been higher than PG. Okay, so the boat is really sinking now. So Chief Brody, Quint's dead, and Hooper is, well, we think he's down there, still on the bottom of the ocean floor, but we don't really know. I mean, I know because I've seen this more than once. Brody found the rifle that Quint was using a while ago, so he realizes he's got one last chance to kill the shark before the boat sinks completely. So Chief Brody, a while ago, when the shark was trying to get him after it got Quint, he threw one of those compressed air tanks into the shark's mouth, and it's still in there. So he's going to try and use the gun to hit it with the bullet and blow the shark up. And on this day, when they blow the shark up, spoilers, um, Spielberg was actually not there. He did not shoot the whole blowing up shot of the shark. He was on his way back to Los Angeles with Richard Dreyfuss. Here we go. Boom! Wow. Smile, you son of a bitch. Boom! Oh, I love it. I love it. Pieces of the shark just go flying everywhere. Now, when this body of the shark sinks, you hear this kind of interesting sound effect, and it's from this old B movie, which featured dinosaurs, and it was the sound of a T-Rex roar as the shark sinks, or the parts of the shark sink to the bottom. That same sound effect was also used at the end of Spielberg's film before this, Duel. And he decided to incorporate it into this film, which I thought was pretty cool. So the shark's dead and Matt Hooper is alive. He just popped up. Now they're both just kind of hanging on to what's left of the boat before it sinks. And fixing to head for shore because they're not too far away. It's within a few hundred yards away, maybe a little further. So they used several of the remaining barrels, or some that were on the shark, and they're just using those to get back to shore. They used to hate the water. And that is it. The end credits are rolling, and you see on the beach in the distance that Dr. Matt Hooper and Chief of Police Martin Brody made it back to shore. So, yes, sir. That is the end of this film, Jaws. Okay, guys. Well, as I said, that's it. I hope you enjoyed this commentary. I enjoyed doing it for you. And what a great way to start off Shark Week 2020. There'll be more movie reviews and commentaries coming soon. As soon as I get this posted, I will probably do a movie review to this film Jaws as well, so you'll get to see my overall grade for it. So that's it. Thank you guys for listening and watching. I love you guys. God bless you, and I will see you in the next video. Until then, so long.